was watching your documentary, and
Thank you for
you had
watching.
started. It was phenomenal. You had started the company Strange Fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You lost it.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Lionsgate,
Mm-hmm.
and you're applying for an executive assistant position,
Yes.
and the president of Lionsgate has a talk with you,
Mm-hmm.
and he's basically telling you that if you take this job,
Mm-hmm.
your film career is basically over.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, if you are going to be a producer, then produce.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that very profound.
Mm-hmm.
So, to your advice, what would your advice be to anyone that may have started something
Mm-hmm.
and they hit a snag or a bump in the road, and
Mm-hmm.
they decide that, hey, I'm going to do something else, but this is my love. And then you get that. So, what would be your advice for someone who finds themselves in the same position that you found yourself in, sitting in his office?
Right. I think like no one could have told me that guy had to tell me that thing, right? Um I'm big on divine positioning, divine. Like I needed to the path, my path had to be that thing. Apply for this job so this guy can tell you to go do this. I remember speaking of books, interestingly enough, I think God speaks to me through books because I was at a bookstore before I applied for that job and a book fell off the shelf.
Mm.
I swear it fell off the shelf in the bookstore uh, in Sherman Oaks at the Barnes and Nobles on Ventura Boulevard. Um, and it said, Too Busy Not to Pray. The book was called Too Busy Not to Pray. And I remember reading that book before I had that meeting with the guy. And, the whole thing was God order my steps, light my path, show me, because literally I was at a loss. Like that was a death for me. That was my first company. And to lose that to partners that I had brought in, hoping to support the dream, only to steal the dream, or so I thought, was very, very devastating. I was very invested and it was very devastating.